such terms, such parameters associated with the movement of satellite in a well-defined orbital path, which is the angle of inclination and the angle of elevation. So before doing that, we must revisit some important concepts which we have already discussed, but still let us just have a quick look at them. First is the orbital plane. Now we know that a satellite moves around Earth in a well-defined path. It can be circular or elliptical. So as it moves, it forms a plane. Okay, and this plane is called as the orbital plane, and the center is the center of the Earth's mass, which is called as the geocenter. Okay, so this is the concept of orbital plane. This is the orbital plane. Okay, the orbital plane. Now the direction of the satellite, it can either be in the same direction as the Earth's rotation, the direction of Earth's rotation, which is called as posigrade, or in the opposite direction, called as retrograde. Now, the angle of inclination. So there are two ways of defining angle of inclination. Okay, the first way is, first imagine a line passing through the geocenter. Okay, first focus on this line passing through the center of the Earth, called as geocenter, and is perpendicular to this orbital plane. This line perpendicular to the orbital plane passing through the center of the Earth, the geocenter. And we have another line passing through the North Pole and also the center of the Earth, the geocenter. So these two lines are important. First line passing through the center of the Earth perpendicular to the orbital plane. Second line passing through the North Pole and the geocenter, the center of the Earth. So the angle formed between these two lines is called as the angle of inclination. Okay, the angle formed between the first line perpendicular to the orbital plane passing through the geocenter and the line passing through the North Pole and the geocenter, the angle formed between these two lines is called as the angle of inclination. This is the first definition. Okay, the second definition of angle of inclination. For that, we have to imagine the side view or the edge view of the orbital plane. So this is the orbital plane. If we try to look at it from a side angle, okay, the edge view, it will look something like this. Okay, the orbital plane, it will appear as a straight line at a particular angle with respect to the equator passing through the center of the Earth. Okay, this is the edge view of the orbital plane. So according to the second definition of the angle of inclination, the angle is the angle formed between the edge view of the orbital plane, okay, and the equator. This is called as the angle of inclination. So both these angles, this and this, they are of the same value. Just there are two ways of defining the same thing, the angle of inclination. So don't have any confusion. There are two definitions of angle of inclination. The first definition, according to the first definition, it is the angle formed between the line passing through the geocenter perpendicular to the orbital plane and the line passing through the North Pole and the geocenter. the angle formed between these two lines called as the angle of inclination. That's the first definition. The second definition is the angle formed between the first line, which is the edge view of the orbital plane, okay, the side angle view of the orbital plane. So this orbital plane, when viewed from a side angle, from an edge view, it appears like this. So the angle between this line and the equator, it is the second definition of the angle of inclination. So the next parameter is the angle of elevation. So for that, let us look at this figure. So this is Earth, on which the Earth station antenna is located. So the angle of elevation is the angle formed between the first line, which is starting from the Earth station antenna and reaches the satellite, and the second line starts from the Earth station antenna and the Earth's horizon. Okay, so the angle of elevation is the angle between the line from the Earth station antenna to the satellite and the line between the Earth station antenna and the Earth's horizon. Okay, so this is the Earth's horizon line starting from the Earth station antenna, and this is the line from the antenna to the satellite. So this angle between these two lines is called as the angle of elevation. So the angle of elevation, it continuously keeps changing with respect to the position of the satellite at the different points in the orbital path. Okay, at the different points in the orbital path. So this is the two concepts that I wanted to discuss here. First, the angle of inclination. There are two definitions of it, two ways of defining angle of inclination, and then the angle of elevation. So I